Hey, how's everybody doing once again? So, one of my wife's best friends happens to be divorced now, and when she was married to her ex-husband, they were married for 5, maybe 6 years at the most. Now, must I remind you, they have no children together whatsoever, and they have been divorced for I think it's been a year, either almost a year or right at a year. Anyway, they still associate with one another every day or almost every day. Although they are divorced, don't have kids anymore. Speaking of which, my mother-in-law has been divorced from my father-in-law for years. But and judging from what my wife has told me about my mother-in-law, she still talks to her ex-in-laws. In other words, her ex-husband's parents until this day. And my point of saying this is, I feel like if you're divorced to a person, but you still until this day associate with that person, either that person, which will be your ex-spouse, or their family members, you may as well still remain married to them until this day. Now, some of you may not agree with me, because I'm sure some of you who may not be watching this may be going through the same situation, may uh, have experienced a divorce in the past, or maybe going through a divorce right now. Yet it's still, you're still talking to your spouse who you're on the verge of divorcing, and in some cases even living with that same spouse whom you're on the verge of divorcing. What makes it more strange or stranger is that I know of a teacher, when, because this was when I was working for the school system, and I heard from someone else that I worked with. By the way, I was working at a school, a middle school, for my last job in a cafeteria. And one of the other people that I worked with in the cafeteria knew of a teacher at the same school who was divorced from his ex-wife, only for them to still be staying in the same house. I mean, tell me what's the main purpose for that? Being divorced from a person, yet and still you may be staying with that person, not staying with that person. You may be talking to them, texting them, talking to them, video chatting with them, even going as far as the being intimate with them until this day. Because I have a former co-worker, another former co-worker of mine, that had been through 4 divorces, if I could remember, because this has been a few years back, possibly 10 years ago. Anyway, this one particular former co-worker of mine who had been through multiple divorces was talking to me one time, holding casual conversation. It just so happened as he was talking with me, he said how he wanted to get with one of his ex-wives. In other words, wanted to have sexual relations with her. I was thinking to myself, if you was going that route, you might as well should have been married to her still then at the time. I mean, tell me, for some of you people who may be divorced but still may be talking to either your ex-spouses or your ex-spouse's relatives, may still have a close relationship with either or, what's the logic, I guess you could say, behind that? So I'm going to conclude this video, and with that said, I want you to first and foremost like the video to let me know how much you have appreciated my input on this particular topic and video. Subscribe to the channel, most of all. Share the video amongst other people just so I could be able to gain more exposure and grow my audience, a much more bigger audience to my channel. Also, you could comment right down below in the comment section. Till next time, have a blessed day and be safe.